Hello again. An airstrike by the US-led anti-ISIS coalition could be behind a deadly blast in Iraq's western Anbar province has killed 22 soldiers, according to Iraqi officials. Kevork Almassian is an academic and political analyst focusing on the Middle East. Let's try and get some thoughts from him now live, see what's going on here. Hi there, Kevork. Thanks for being with us. You're live on air. A coalition spokesman admitted earlier that there had been airstrikes in the area, but denied that there are any so-called friendly casualties. Do you believe him?
Actually, I don't buy the reports that claim this attack was not carried out by the coalition or was carried out by mistake against the Iraqi forces. The equation for me is very clear in Iraq. The destroying ISIS and other terrorist organizations have a price. This price is being negotiated with the Iranian counterpart, not only for between the P5+1 and Iran for the nuclear issue, no, but also for distributing the influence in the Middle East. Therefore, eradicating ISIS without reaching an agreement with Iran will be a nonsense for the Americans, because it will give the upper hand for the Iranians to extend their influence in Iraq and to Syria. Therefore, the Americans are working now secretly by the so-called US-led coalition to slow down the advances of the Iraqi forces in Tikrit and elsewhere against ISIS, because if the Iraqi forces succeeded to crush and eliminate these terrorist elements from that area, the Iraqi government will empower its position, and that means also the Iranians will empower their position in the Middle East. Therefore, for the Americans, as long as an agreement is not reached with Iran, destroying ISIS is not on the table.
So your theory here that if this is correct and these 22 soldiers have been killed in so-called friendly fire, as we're putting it, they basically have been used as cannon fodder.
These reports are only trying to polish the terrible act of the American or other coalition warplane against the Iraqi forces. I was reading the Western mainstream media before I came to the studio, and I found out that most of the mainstream media outlets are trying to promote the narrative that this attack was carried out by ISIS and not by the US-led coalition. Therefore, I cannot rule out that this operation was conducted by the Americans or by the Gulf states. We have to remember that many Gulf states are participating in this war against ISIS in Syria and Iraq, and they have no interest whatsoever in destroying ISIS and giving the ground for the Syrian army and for the Iraqi army. For them, the cake is not been distributed yet, it's not been divided yet between them. And the Saudis, the Emiratis, the Qataris, they don't know what will they gain in Iraq and in Syria.
And of course, Kevork, tying in with this, looking back, previously weapons airdropped by the US-led coalition to support Kurdish forces months back now ended up in the hands of Islamic State, got into the wrong hands. Given its resources, should the coalition always be hitting its target properly?
Actually, the Western countries, or the countries that are participating in with the United States against ISIS, are the one who created the problem. So they create the problem, and then they want to find the solution in order to extend their influence in the Middle East and to serve their geopolitical interests. When we remember the war on Kobani and how the Americans wrote several times ammunition and weapons to ISIS, because their interest was the ISIS to advance into Kobani and then to destroy them inside Kobani by destroying all the infrastructure of the city of Ain al-Arab or Kobani, because there was an intersection of interest between Turkey and the Americans at that time, that neither ISIS nor the Kurds should have a stronghold on the borders with Turkey. For them, and the so-called Islamic State is off the table, and also a Kurdish state is off the table. For the Turks, is a red line for the Kurds to have a strong presence on the borders with Turkey, because at a later stage, the Kurds will ask for further autonomy and also a state for them.
As you're saying there, Kevork, it's so many irons in the fire here, so many elements at play. It's so layered, isn't it? Kevork Almassian, academic and political analyst focusing on the Middle East. Thanks for your thoughts today.